Buying an Android phone from a Chinese manufacturer is typically risky business. They pump out new smartphones left and right, but only a handful of brands actually make anything that's worth buying. Fortunately, Oppo is one of those brands. They've been producing mid to high-end Android devices for the past few years, and they've stepped up their game each and every time. I'm Nick Gray for HDblog, and this is our review of the Oppo R7s.
Like many of today's flagship Android phones, the Oppo R7s features an aluminum chassis which wraps around the sides and the back of the device, and an edge-to-edge Gorilla Glass 3 panel on the front, which protects its 5.5-inch display. Available in white and gold, the phone could easily be mistaken for an iPhone at quick glance, but it does have enough unique touches which set it apart from the competition. While the iPhone and even the new HTC One A9 feature rounded edges, the R7s has a hard chamfered aluminum edge that meets up perfectly with the curved 2.5D glass on the front. This allows for a solid grip, even when trying to use the device with a single hand. When looking at the front, the design is actually quite sparse, with a camera and ambient light sensor on either side of the speaker and a chrome Oppo logo below the display. On the back, you'll find two polycarbonate inserts which match up with the color of the phone, allowing for better Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cell reception, and a camera which is located in the top right-hand corner with a single LED flash. The power button is located on the right edge of the device, along with a dual SIM tray, which also doubles as a micro SD card slot. The bottom edge houses the main speaker and micro USB port, while the left edge is where you'll find the volume toggle. This leaves a 3.5mm headphone jack, all by itself, on the top edge of the device. Besides its passing resemblance to an iPhone, the only real gripe I have with the design of the phone is the speaker on the bottom edge, which easily gets covered up with your hand every time you switch it into landscape mode to watch a video or play a game. It's a minor annoyance, but something you'll have to learn to live with. As far as specs go, the Oppo R7s is equipped with an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 processor, 4 GB of RAM, and 32 GB of internal storage. You can even add an additional 128 GB of external storage with a micro SD card. The phone has a 13 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel front-facing shooter, 3070 mAh battery, and the usual array of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, FM, and LTE connectivity options. Now, the specs of the phone make it clear that we're really dealing with a mid-range device, but the performance of the Oppo R7s is anything but mid-range. The Snapdragon 615 processor paired with 4 GB of RAM could easily trick you into thinking that the R7s is packing a lot more horsepower than it actually is. To put the phone to the test, we loaded it up with some of our favorite games, Asphalt 8, Leo's Fortune, and a half dozen other titles from Gameloft. While load times do take a little bit longer on the R7s than they would on the Galaxy S6 or even the HTC One M9, gameplay is virtually identical. The phone even handles multitasking just as good, if not better, than some of the current flagship phones that are on the market. We're not sure whether to credit Oppo's custom memory management within Color OS or the 4 GB of RAM found in the device. On the software front, the phone is running on Android 5.1 with Oppo's Color OS. Like many Android manufacturers, Oppo's take on Android looks more like iOS than stock Android. The traditional app drawer, which is used to hide away your unused apps, has been replaced with an advanced folder system, which easily allows you to group and organize your apps in a variety of ways. If you're not a huge fan of the standard UI, the theme store gives you access to hundreds of themes, which allow you to change the look and appearance of the icons, wallpapers, folders, and even the notification panel. There's nothing inherently wrong with Color OS. It's simple, clean, and intuitive, but it does take a while to adapt to if you haven't used it or a similar build of Android before. When opting for a mid-range device, the camera is usually the first thing that you have to sacrifice in order to find a device within your budget. Fortunately, Oppo has gone out of its way to ensure that the R7s offers an impressive camera experience. Images captured with a 13 megapixel sensor on the back of the phone are crisp and offer pretty accurate color reproduction. The skies are typically overexposed in daylight shots, but that's easily corrected by switching to the HDR mode. The phone even manages to capture some pretty impressive shots in low light environments. It may not be as good as the LG G4, but it's definitely a step above any other device within its price range. If all you want is a little fun, there are dozens of presets within the camera app which allow you to create animated GIFs, panoramic images, double exposure shots, and even time-lapse videos. There's even an expert setting which allows you full control over the camera's white balance, shutter speed, exposure, and focal length. But for me, the highlight is the Ultra HD mode. With the setting turned on, the camera captures multiple exposures and stitches them together to produce a single 25 megapixel image. It's not a setting that should be turned on at all times, but it's definitely useful if you're trying to capture as much detail as possible for a subject that's far away. For a mid-range phone, the Oppo R7s offers incredible battery life. You can expect to get 14 to 16 hours of use on a single charge with nearly 5 hours of screen on time. And if you do need to charge up the phone during the day, Oppo's proprietary VOOC quick charger, which is included with the phone, can take the device from 0 to 75% in just 30 minutes. That's even faster than Qualcomm's new Quick Charge 3.0 standard, which just launched a few months ago.
The Oppo R7s is definitely a good device. Thanks to the 4 gigs of RAM, performance is great, battery life is good, and the camera experience is a step above what's available from other devices in the same category. If you're looking for a mid-range device, we definitely suggest you should check it out, just as long as you don't mind a non-traditional Android experience. Thanks for watching our review of the Oppo R7s. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to HDblog if you want to see more videos from us as soon as they're available.